Radiant Cash Management System, and AGS Transact Technologies. There is another fourth company, SIS, which also has a division of CMS, but we have kept it outside the scope of today's presentation because we believe it is better to look at it when they recently mentioned in one of the con calls that they will demerge the cash management business. So that time would be a good time to have a look at it. But for better presentation and for a better comparison, it is better to compare the companies which are solely focused on the CMS. So now, when we talk about the usage of cash, of course, we'll cover each and every aspect of the industry in detail in the subsequent slide. But I wanted to first give you this framework as to what all are in the ambit of the cash management companies. So you can see over here, there are four major business categories in which they work. Number one is cash management. Number two is ATM managed service. Number three is automation solution. And number four is software and technology, right? Now, even in these, there are further subsections which companies focus on, right? As we cover all the three companies, you will get more clarity as to who is present in what segment. But when you look here, number one in the cash management is ATM, where you use the cash replenishment for ATMs and first line maintenance service. Now, if you look at the whole industry landscape, CMS info system is big time into it. They are the number one in this segment. There is SIS, there is Brinks. Brinks is an outside company, but also has an India division. What you see as Secure Value over here is nothing but a subsidiary of AGS Transact. So Secure Value is also there. And Radiant has stayed away from this segment. In fact, they were earlier into this segment, but they sold out this segment because of losses. And they focus only on RCM. RCM means retail cash management. If you don't understand what is retail cash management, don't worry. We'll cover that also in the subsequent slide. So ATM में कौन-कौन है? CMS main है, SIS है, Brinks है, and AGS है. And Radiant is not there in that. In RCM, which is the retail cash management, where what retail cash management में क्या होता है? Cash pickup and treasury solution for retailers. Who are the retailers? The large retail guys like Amazon, Reliance Retail, या कोई भी एक D2C ब्रांड हो जहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा उनका ये रहता है शोरूम रहता है, and वहां से they have to make a lot of cash collection from different places. All these are retail players, and that is where Radiant is probably the number one player, and CMS comes a close second. And then there is DCV, which is delivery cash vans. ये business में simple ये है कि van travel from banks to the location where the cash is there, or sometimes from that location to bank, and also for retailers where retailers have to travel to move cash from one place to another. Maybe there are so many retail shops where cash is getting generated and they want to collect all and put it at one particular main branch of the retail company. That is where also these DCV vans are used. So this is about the cash management. अभी हमने सिर्फ एक point cover किया, which is cash management. Then there is ATM managed service. This ATM managed service is again a service where end-to-end management of ATMs, including product deployment, annual maintenance contract, and brown label ATMs. Brown label ATMs क्या होता है? We'll again cover in the subsequent slide in detail because it is important. Again, here also Radiant is not present. ATM related कोई भी काम में Radiant is not there. Radiant is only there in the retail cash management this thing, and also in the DCV. So इसमें in the ATM managed service you again have CMS info system, Hitachi, and some other companies which are into this. What are automation solution? These involve sales and deployment of automation products like ATMs, kiosks, passbooks, printers. Again, we'll cover this section also in detail in the subsequent slide. But just for now, understand that this is another segment of the sector, which is covered by a few players like CMS, NCR, Hitachi, and OKI. And the last one, which is software and technology. This is one of the most complex segment where it requires a lot of tech expertise from the people or the guys who offer this service. This involves development, customization, and deployment of software. Also includes endpoint security solutions and remote monitoring. Over here again, CMS is present, and there are a couple of companies like NCR and CAL, which are into the tech side of this. Now, when you look at this, now look at the numbers over here. I think you don't have to, even if you just look at these numbers, these numbers tell a lot in terms of story, in terms of what is happening in the business, right? So you can see market cap of CMS and market cap of Radiant and Transact. There is no comparison. Both the other companies are sub 1,000 crore market cap, whereas CMS is 5,000 plus market cap company, 5,000 crore market cap company. Look at the revenue. Even though revenue of AGS and CMS is same, the market cap suggests that market is completely ignoring AGS at the moment because of the reasons I have shared till now. So if you are an investor, like we at SmartSync Services focus more on businesses like say CMS, even though as of now we are not having any position or stake in any of the companies, but I'm just telling we will drift more towards CMS or Radiant because we like to get invested in companies where the quality of earnings is far more predictable and the growth is far more again predictable, right? But in case of AGS, if they manage to turn around from here and put their act together, probably in the next 2-3 years, if they manage to do that, this stock can be far more return accretive compared to CMS and Radiant because of sheer depressed valuation at which it is trading. Okay, now you can look at the sales growth. Even at such a high base, both in terms of sales and profit, CMS is giving you a very high double-digit number, right? Then let's come to CFO and FCF. Both CMS and Radiant are generating a decent amount of cash flows from operation and also free cash flows, given the nature of their, given the volume of their cash flows or profits as on date. In case of AGS, they are also producing FCF, but given their scale, which is almost equal to the scale of CMS, their cash flow generation is far lower compared to CMS. Now, if you look at EBITDA again, CMS and AGS, similar scale and almost similar EBITDA. I would not say similar, uska 400 crore, iska 500 crore. But the main difference lies in the depreciation and finance cost. Look at the finance cost of AGS Transact. More than 100, so close to 150 crore ka finance cost, whereas both CMS and Radiant have 20 crores of finance cost. Now, in terms of depreciation, Radiant is the most asset-light business, and that's why they have the lowest depreciation. CMS or AGS, even though similar scale of businesses, look at the difference in depreciation because AGS has spent more money in building the tech, in creating the infrastructure, right? So that is taking a toll on their finances, and that is why the PAT of AGS is even lower than Radiant, right? That is the scenario we are living with today. Now, when you look at the valuation, we don't believe in only looking at PE all the time. I think it is important to look at not just PE, but also price to sales and price to book. But price to book can be tricky at times because yahan pe AGS says that they have not revalued their balance sheet. However, CMS and Radiant have been consistently revaluing their balance sheet. So there is a case that if you put all three together, then even though right now optically AGS looks very attractive on the price to book basis, but जब आप वो adjustment करोगे तो probably all CMS, Radiant and AGS will look all the same in terms of price to book, right? अगर आप P देखते हो तो CMS and Radiant looks pretty cheap compared to the growth prospects which they have been able to show in the past and also in the current year. If you talk about FY24 also, the growth prospects is pretty bright for them. AGS, you can see the PE ratio is a little high because of depressed earnings they are trading right now into. So maybe once the earning picks up from here, you will see a coming down of the PE multiple from 40 to say maybe 30 or 20, right? In terms of ROE, again, Radiant being far more focused, far more asset light than any of the other two. So they have a far better ROE. But you have to give it to CMS that even after scaling up the operation and not just in terms of volume, but also in terms of the breadth of services they are providing, they continue to generate 20 plus ROE. So which we believe is a very commendable job. And being in mind that CMS came much after Radiant and AGS. Now, I would like to close this presentation with this thought that money itself isn't lost or made, it's simply transferred from one perception to another. Again, I copied this from the terminal value slide presentation, which Mr. Utpal said, presented on the Flame University, but I think it is very relevant today on this sector. So, ऐसा नहीं है कि money is lost or made. It is basically simply transferred. There can be people or investors here who will be betting on these CMS companies now because the valuation is very attractive to them. There will be other set of investors who will be thinking that there is a terminal value question mark on these companies. If the UPIs grow to a phenomenal level, probably these cash management companies will not have a good terminal value for them 5 years, 10 years, or maybe 15 years down the line. So those investors are completely out of it. So the money is actually getting transferred from one side of the investors to the other side, right? And last, which is a very, it is almost like a cliche where we only look from a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year perspective. In fact, one of our physical meets recently in Bangalore. So I think our guest, Mr. Tariq Hussain, he asked this question to the audience. There were close to 100 people present in the meeting. He asked, how many of you have been holding a stock for more than 10 years? So only 2 people raised hands. One was a very elderly gentleman, maybe in his 50s, and the second person was me. Okay. So I'm not trying to say anything about myself. I'm trying to say about the other 9,800 people who were present there. So we don't have the patience or the predictability of 10 years or anywhere closer to that. And we don't like being in situation where there is uncertainty. And that is where most people play for 2 year, 3 year, 5 year theme. Nothing against them. What I'm trying to say is that most people find it difficult to envisage what will happen 5 years, 7 years, 10 years down the line, right? So is investing in CMS companies a digital theme or not? Again, I'm not going to give you a direct answer. We can discuss and debate on it now. So that ends our presentation. Thank you so much for your patient hearing.